My name is John McMahon. I am the resident whose house T-Mobile wants to plan to put that 34-foot monster. I want to address something real quick before I get started because Marguerite had skipped this incidentally. We talked about capacity and demand. The T-Mobile contractors, not employees by the way, who came by to meet with me talked about that as well. We'll show in our petitions that we have 190 people signed on the petition. 8 of them are T-Mobile customers. We're spending all this litigation, all this money for 8 people. That's who they want to serve. That's their demand. And in terms of capacity, I'd like everyone to take a note and go to youtube.com. I went around the neighborhood, knocked on doors of people I've never met before, and came inside their home with Marguerite's T-Mobile phone and recorded myself successfully making calls at every single household. I went into the highest canyons, I went into the hills. If you go onto youtube.com, you can go to type in "get the cell out of here," and you can find that video. So I'm going to get started with the 911 claims. So here's the story with 911. The cell carriers are all telling us nobody has a landline anymore. While this is actually very untrue in even dense areas, it's especially true in residential neighborhoods, in affluent areas, and in neighborhoods with owners of median age over 50. Their argument goes like this: everyone's canceling their landline. So what we need to do is we need to have that emergency cell phone. The argument then, but one of the things that became interesting, when Rob Searcy and Wally Gawarecki came out to my house, I asked them something. Can't you take an old cell phone that doesn't have a contract and dial 911? They said, yes, you can. I said, what happens? They said it picks up any signal around, the AT&T, the Verizon, anything in the area. So it really becomes about how much total capacity you have. And what we did is we went online. It's very simple to do. Most of them have it on their homepage, and you can check the capacity. And you'll see, when you see all pink, that means the highest level for AT&T, which, by the way, has 70% of our market share in our neighborhood. The next person down is Verizon. Then it's Sprint. T-Mobile only has 4 to 5% of our neighborhood. Now, T-Mobile, this isn't the first time they've tried this, and I saw one of the representatives speaking to Channel 4 earlier and giving this sort of whole 911 spiel. They did this in Windsor Homes Association, which is a community that we've hooked up with. We've hooked up with lots of communities who are going through the same process, which is really what I'd advise the city attorney to do, because from what I hear, they have not done that yet. And it's not just about defending the city, it's about actually defending the community and educating ourselves. So we hooked up with the Windsor Hills group, and they had some interesting experiences with 911. T-Mobile, to discredit the residents, introduced testimony that during a month period there were 5,000 911 calls made by T-Mobile phones within that community. Well, there was 1,000 people in that community, which meant that each person called 911 5 times. 5 heart attacks each person recognized, 5 drownings. It was proved to be more inaccurate information. We'll also show it. All these things are in our exhibits, which we will give to you today. We'll also show written testimony in the Windsor Hills case from a 911 call center employee who went through the data and proved and discredited it. We'll also show an excerpt from T-Mobile's own website that says, it's a flyer that says your cell phone is causing a 911 crisis, and that most 911 calls are actually not for emergencies, people calling the time by accident, they hit it in the car. So we'll show our signed petition. As I said, there's hardly any T-Mobile customers to serve in the area. So the conclusion for this part is that not only are people not abandoning their landlines, because we asked every person on the petition, would you abandon your landline? Have you or you have? No one had. No one said they would. But there are also few T-Mobile customers. So if you're in a crisis, the best place to be is to have T-Mobile right now, because nobody will compete with you for that 911 capacity. So we'll also attach information about the failure of cell phone companies. The federal government is working with them because the reality is a lot of cell towers have a backup battery in them. So 8 hours into your emergency, that battery goes down. So they don't become reliant as an emergency service either. And the federal government has been trying to have them increase that, but it's too financially tough for the carriers, and they've been fighting it. So the 911 sort of follows into the next section, which is that T-Mobile has just shown bad corporate citizenship. They've been unwilling to live up to their promises. They've told the communities lots of inaccurate data, typically science-heavy, to confuse people and to force cities to get really high-end experts. They failed to show good faith. It's completely inaccurate. Wally and Rob, who are really nice guys, have come by my house, but neither of them actually work for T-Mobile. I've never met anyone from T-Mobile, and even when I asked them, I had to press them pretty hard to get a first and last name, no email, no phone number of the rep at T-Mobile. So they haven't come, and we'll also show pictures of really poorly maintained T-Mobile sites, vandalized sites. Once it's there, it's the city's problem to deal with that. in terms of the bad corporate citizenship, the San Francisco Chronicle has done a fantastic job sort of reporting this, and we'll have a lot of their articles in there. And several of their articles deal with the fact that there was a program at T-Mobile to give bonuses if you push cities to go around planning guidelines and put things in quickly and rush things in. And to confirm that, we have in there some information from the California Public Utilities Commission, which cited that, yes, in fact, they are investigating T-Mobile for this. They also, I think I covered most of these already. They haven't, the bottom one, they really haven't shown us any alternative sites. One of the things we want to ask is about transparency here. Mayor Draymond and some other people were nice enough to look into an issue about Middle Sunshine Park, which T-Mobile made an arrangement with some staff level person to, we're going to provide landscaping, we're going to reconfigure the gates and the hiking trails if you'll let us put a cell tower in here. What's happening, and what Mayor Draymond has advised me is happening that he's going to try to work on, is that these decisions are being made by staff without council even being aware of it. And the way I found out is Wally and Rob told me. So we'd like council to look into that. They also use studies from firms that aren't biased, that are biased themselves. Hammond and Edison, they've got people going back and forth from the FCC to Hammond and Edison, back to the FCC and back. They're lobbyists. They're not scientists. So the question is, why are they doing it for these 8 people? Why are they doing it with this limited demand? Well, the answer is very simple. It's the oldest answer in the book, money. What they want to do is, if anyone lives in that area, you've seen AT&T take over that area. You've also seen them roll out UVerse. They're sending people door to door every week. And T-Mobile is panicking. They don't want to lose their market share. They have what's called T-Mobile at Home, where you try to transfer your home line to your cell line, and they're trying to push that service. They're also trying to roll out their 3G services. We went through their financial reports, their 10Q SEC reports online, and looked at them to study where the revenue is growing. Where the revenue is growing is in one area: 3G style applications, revenue, and texting. So that's what they want to do. They want to grow these things. And for that, they need not just one tower in front of my house. They need one every 2 blocks.